it's Melissa from Melissa's Creations, and today we are doing a 3-tag series, and this is the first video. So this is our very first tag that we are going to make, and it features the Snowflake Sentiments stamp set along with the Swirly Snowflakes Thinlits dies, which you can bundle and save 10%. I have silver embossed this snowflake up here, and it's just gorgeous. And I am thinking I'm going to switch it up a little bit on the tag I'm going to make today. I'm going to also emboss my to and from. Now, if you want to stamp them flat and not emboss, you can certainly use Smoky Slate Classic Stampin' Pad. And the paper that we're using today is Smoky Slate as well, along with the Whisper White. So let's get started on this first tag. Now, if you want to see the rest of the tags in the series, as I get them uploaded, I will put a card right up here in this corner. So all you have to do if you are watching on your computer, or I think mobile device might work as well, just click on the little info. And if not, at the end of the video, there will also be a link. So here we go. I have a piece of Smoky Slate cardstock. Now this piece measures 2 inches by 4.5, and my Whisper White piece measures 2 inches by 4. So I'm going to start by stamping my snowflake, and I'm going to heat emboss that with silver. So we're going to stamp the snowflake up at the top. Now there's kind of a direction to how we're going to do this, and if you want to use your Stamp-A-Majig or a similar product to get your image lined up right where you want it, that's fine. I'm gonna try and eyeball it, and we're gonna see how that works. So I'm inking this up with VERSAMARK. This is our watermark ink that works really well with all of our embossing powders, and I am just going to try and line this up close to the top. Okay, I think that should work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and take my silver embossing powder, and you want to do this over a scrap piece of paper, or if you have a tray, use your tray. This is actually a retired Stampin' Up! Product, so I'm just going to use it for this part. And now I'm going to stamp my to and my from so that I can emboss those at the same time. So again, these stamps are from the Snowflake Sentiments stamp set. So make sure that it's in the right position. There's my to, and here is my from. Okay, and then I'm gonna scoop up some more of that powder and just run it right across there, just like that. And then just kind of wipe away if there's extra little bits. You can also use your embossing buddy to get a very clean image there. All right, so I'm going to put the lid back on my ink and set this over here, and I'm going to grab my heat tool and I'm going to go ahead and emboss that. All right, it's so cold outside, and that heat tool is so warm, it feels so good to heat emboss today. So there is that. Now what I'm going to do is bring in my Big Shot, because we have 2 things that we want to do. We're going to emboss our background piece, and we're also going to cut out the top of our white piece here. And we're going to start with the cutting. So from the Swirly Snowflakes Thinlits dies, I will be using this little edgelit piece here. So I'm just going to, make sure you put a cutting plate down first. So I have my magnetic platform and then a cutting plate. And then I'm going to line this piece up with my stamp. And let's see, about right there-ish, give or take. And I'm going to put my cutting plate on top as well, and I'm going to run that through. And then I'm going to run it back through. And then you have this lovely top here. Okay, so now we are going to move on to embossing, and I'm actually going to take out the magnetic platform and I'm going to replace it with the regular Big Shot platform. Now, the regular platform comes with the platform along with the adapter. I'm not using the adapter since I'm using an embossing folder. So the platform, a cutting plate, your embossing folder with your cardstock, and just kind of get that lined up in there. And then another cutting plate on top. And I'm going to run that through and then back through again. Now, you don't typically have to run those through twice, but the space I'm working in is a little limited. So to get it back out of the machine, I ran it back through the other way. Okay, so now we can move on to our next step. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is take the pretty label punch, and I'm going to use it in a different than normal way. So I'm going to take my Whisper White tag and I'm putting it in the opposite direction. So normally you punch like this, right? Well, I have the lock here, and I'm going to insert my cardstock up this direction instead, and I'm just going to kind of line it up. I'm making sure that the space here and here are the same amount. I'm making sure to line up as best as I can these points right here with the edge of the cardstock, so you can kind of see that right there. And don't worry if it's not perfect, you can trim it off. So I'm going to just give that a little chop. Okay. I'm also going to trim this piece down. So I wanted to make it a little wider so that I could kind of play around with the placement. And now that I have that, I'm going to trim it down just slightly. So on my Stampin' trimmer, I'm going to line this up, and I kind of want to cut in between these two little dots here. So I'm gonna line up that area, and then I'm going to chop that off. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to kind of line up these two dots down here. And I'm shooting for cutting in the middle of those. And then once I have that lined up, you can chop those off. So you have a more narrow tag, and then I'm just gonna kind of come in and round off those corners again slightly. Just like that. This beautiful punch here, I love this scalloped tag topper punch, and I'm going to punch both sides of this cardstock. So I'm gonna punch that and then turn it around and punch that side as well. So now when I put it onto my cardstock, I'm going to cover up the bottom hole here like this, and then it just kind of lines up really nicely. The shapes really go together. I love the scallopy bits. So I'm gonna put that on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I have some of our Whisper White Baker's Twine. This stuff is really awesome. And I'm going to take a length of that. And however much you need to tie this onto the ribbon or a bow onto a package. There's my little tag tail. And there we go. There's our first Christmas tag of my 3-tag series. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified when I upload the next videos in this series, as well as any other videos on my channel. And leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of this tag. It was quick and simple, but it still is so cute with that silver embossing on there. Thank you guys again for visiting. I hope to see you soon. And don't forget to visit me online, melissascreations.com. You can also follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/mcreations. Thanks so much, guys. See you later.